Today, we're going to walk through one of the most powerful tools in workplace safety, the Job Hazard Analysis, or JHA. This is a clear, step-by-step guide on how to write one so you can stop accidents before they ever get a chance to happen.
Before any task gets started, whether it's on a construction site, in a factory, or in a maintenance shop, this is the question someone needs to be asking. This question, it's really the engine that drives a job hazard analysis. It's what shifts safety from being reactive, where we're just responding to accidents, to being proactive, where we're actually preventing them.
And that whole process of asking that question, well, it has a name. It's called a job hazard analysis. Now, OSHA has been recommending this for decades, and for a really good reason. You'll see safety officers use it for pre-task planning, and OSHA inspectors will definitely ask for them during an investigation. The unfortunate truth is, in a huge percentage of workplace accidents, investigators find that the very hazard that caused the injury would have been spotted if a proper JSA had been done.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the basics, what a JHA actually is. Then we're going to walk through the 5 essential steps to create one, from picking the right job all the way through to implementing the plan and keeping it up to date.
Okay, let's dive right in. Before we can write a good JHA, we need to be crystal clear on what it is, what its core pieces are, and just as importantly, who should be putting it together.
So here's the official definition. A JHA is a systematic process. The whole goal is to look at a specific job, pinpoint the dangers tied to it, and then figure out how to lower the risk of someone getting hurt. It's all about breaking down the work to really understand the risk. By the way, you might hear it called a Job Safety Analysis, or JSA. For our purposes, and really in OSHA's view, they're the exact same thing.
Every single JHA, it doesn't matter how complicated the job is, it's built on this really simple 3-column structure. First, you list out the step. Second, you identify the potential hazard for that step. And third, you figure out the control you'll use to deal with that hazard. Step, hazard, control. That's the framework for everything.
Now, this is really important. Let's be clear about what a JHA is not. It is not just another checklist you tick off without thinking. It's not a list of generic safety rules, like wear your hard hat. And it is absolutely not just a piece of paperwork you fill out to keep someone happy. A JHA is a living, systematic process. It's a specific plan you make before the work starts, and it's a tool you use to actively find and control risk.
So who actually writes this thing? Well, the biggest mistake you can make is to have a safety officer write it all by themselves in an office somewhere. The best, most effective JHAs are always a team effort. The worker who does the job every day, they know the real steps and the real challenges. The supervisor, they know the safety requirements and company standards. And you know what? It's a great idea to bring in new workers. They have fresh eyes, and they can spot hazards that a seasoned employee might have gotten so used to they don't even see them anymore.
All right, let's get into the process itself. Step 1. Before you can analyze a job, you've got to pick one. And look, while it would be great to have a JHA for every single task, we have limited time and resources, so I have to prioritize.
So how do you decide where to focus your energy? You prioritize. Start with the jobs that already have a history of accidents or even near misses. Then, you absolutely have to focus on tasks that could cause a severe injury or fatality. Think working at heights or high-voltage electrical work. You should always create a JHA for new tasks or any job that's recently changed. And pay special attention to complex and non-routine jobs. In fact, OSHA suggests that any task you do less than once a month should probably have a JHA. Because when we're not familiar with a task, the risk goes way up. Okay, so you've selected a high-priority job. What's next? The next step is to break it down. You need to deconstruct the entire job into a sequence of individual steps, from the very beginning to the very end. The key here is finding that sweet spot, the right level of detail. A good rule of thumb is that most jobs can be broken down into about 5 to 15 steps. If you have fewer than 5, you're probably being too general, and you're going to miss some hazards. But if you have more than 15, your JHA might become so long and complicated that nobody will actually use it in the field. It's all about balance. Let's look at a real-world example, changing a motor on a pump that's up high. You wouldn't just write "change motor" as your one step, right? Instead, you break it down logically. Notice how each step here starts with an action verb: de-energize, install, remove. This makes the sequence super clear and easy to follow. And this is the level of detail that lets us really pinpoint where the hazards might be hiding. All right, now we get to the real heart of the JHA. We've got our steps listed out.
The next two phases really go hand in hand. We identify the hazards for each step, and then we figure out how we're going to control them.
For every single one of those steps we listed, we have to go back to that core question: what could go wrong? And this is crucial. You have to think about the worst-case scenario. Don't just think about what usually happens. We're on the lookout for all kinds of things: energy sources, chemical exposures, environmental conditions, human factors, anything that could possibly lead to an injury.
To help you brainstorm, it's useful to think in these major hazard categories. Are there physical hazards, like moving machine parts or a slip and fall risk? Any chemical exposures? What about biological risks, like mold? Or ergonomic hazards from heavy lifting or awkward positions? Don't forget psychosocial stressors or general safety hazards like electrical and fire risks. Running through these categories is a great way to make sure you don't miss anything.
Okay, so once you've found a hazard, you need a control. But here's the thing, not all controls are created equal. We use what's called the hierarchy of controls, which ranks protection methods from most effective down to least effective. The absolute best option is always elimination, just getting rid of the hazard completely. If you can't do that, you try substitution. Next are engineering controls, then administrative controls, and finally, as your very last line of defense, comes personal protective equipment, or PPE. You should only be relying on PPE when those higher-level controls just aren't possible.
So let's bring it all together with our motor example. For step 4, unbolt and lift the motor, what are the hazards? Well, there's a strain injury from lifting something so heavy, and of course, the risk of dropping it. So what are the controls? We use an engineering control, a crane to do the heavy lifting, and an administrative control, roping off the area underneath. See how specific that is? We're not just saying, be careful. Then for step 6, restore power, the hazards are electrical shock and the machine starting up unexpectedly. The controls are administrative, make sure only a qualified electrician does the work and clear everyone out of the area first.
Okay, the JHA is written. We're done, right? Not even close. A JHA that just sits in a binder on a shelf is completely useless. The final, and you could argue most important step, is to make this document a living, breathing part of your safety program.
So how do you actually put it to work? First, you communicate. Every single worker involved in that task has to review and understand the JHA before they start the job. Second, you use it for training. It's a perfect tool for getting new employees up to speed. Third, and this is critical, you have to update it. If an incident happens, or if a procedure or a piece of equipment changes, that JHA has to be revised right away. And finally, review all of your JHAs on a regular basis, usually once a year, just to make sure they're still accurate and effective.
So this is really the last question you need to ask yourself. Is your JHA just a document, a piece of paper that gets signed and filed away? Because if it is, it's failed. But if it's treated like a continuous process, a process of communication, training, and constant improvement, then it becomes one of the most powerful safety tools you have.
By treating the JHA as a dynamic process, you can make your workplace significantly safer. If you want to learn more about workplace safety and OSHA rules, go ahead and subscribe to HSEstudy.